Thank you for the honorable occasions. Mr. and Madam Speaker, my name is Anggreni Saputri. Would like to present the paper presentations with the title Literary Review of Risk Communications on Public Perception in Responding to COVID-19 with a System Dynamic Approach. The authors are Anggreni Saputri and Hilya Mudrika Arini from the Department of Industrial and Mechanical Engineering, Universitas Gadjah Mada, Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, before we move, this is the content that discuss in our meeting today. Start from introductions, methodology, results and discussions, and the last conclusions. Let's move to the background. And at the emergence of the COVID-19, World Health Organization suggests there's two key messages of the COVID-19 during COVID-19, such as risk communication and public engagements. What we made the public engagement and risk communication. Risk communication is how we communicate the risk to the public from the domain expert, such as the scientists, government, to the public, to their citizens. Typically, risk communication involves discussions about adverse outcome, including the probabilities of those outcomes are occurring. To make this happen, government should work together with their citizens, with their public, and how make public obey the policies of the government. There's two things. The first one, they must believe that they are at the high risk, and the second one, they have to believe that the recommendations action will work to protect them. And how to make the people or the public believe in the government is by using the community engagement or public engagements, such as listening to them, need their feedback, consider their opinion, how to stop the pandemic. If this happen or ideal conditions happen, we can fight the spread of COVID-19, even the vaccination not already exists. We can at least we can minimize the spread of the COVID-19. But what happens if an ideal conditions happened? An ideal conditions such as the failure to communicate informations, it will be lead loss of life, economic impact, and also lost trust of the government. Ladies and gentlemen, at the very beginning of the COVID-19 or the emerging of the COVID-19, there is many researchers done research in the social science and the natural science. In the social science, they tend to find out the communication crisis that occurred during the pandemic, and the natural science, they tend to use in a quantitative way to modeling the transmission of the virus, which is two things is very interesting to discuss. But in the qualitative or in the natural science, we can see the simulations before it happened, before the COVID-19 have a big impact. We can see how it will be impact in the futures by using the modeling. But in qualitative, but in the social science, it became on the only in the strategies recommendations. We cannot see how exact the recommendations, how the effect of the strategies if we apply this in our country, in our regions, what will happen. It's just the communications, and also it's rare to reevaluate the strategies. Will the strategies will work or not is still rare at the very beginning. So would you believe that this is a good opportunity for us to discuss? That's why we need to bring this qualitative to a quantitative way to embrace, to accommodate those kind of things. We have system dynamic simulations. Why system dynamic simulations? Because system dynamic simulation is approach with collaborative approach between qualitative and quantitative, has advantages such as ability to represent human behavior as so variables in such as in social area in the model, and it can illustrate as hard variables such as like in the natural science. So we can see them that invisible thing as a human behavior in the real thing, for example. And this is methodology of this research. Remember, the research questions of this of this research is what the method have been used for current situation to investigate COVID-19's controls. Because the purpose of this research is to mapping the opportunity for the next researchers uh, to erase the fruitless uh, findings. So we need to make this map of this opportunity. And in the figure 1, this is the research step. Uh, this is actually the method is systematic literature review. We start from articles obtained through database search database. This is such as Science Direct, Google Scholar, and Strangers. Actually, there are more database research on portal, but this is the, for example, this is the big three that I most found article from those uh, portals. And also we need to avoid double search and then for formatting title filtering, we need use terminology such as communications crisis in the pandemic, risk communication perceptions in the pandemic, and also dynamic of the COVID-19. And then we move to filtering through the abstract. We don't need to read a whole paper or article at the very beginning, because we need screening by reading the abstract first. If we think it's related, we can move to find out the whole articles, the full article for eligibility. If it's not accessed, we can move to another paper, or we can contact the author for the existence of whole articles. And then the last step is article already for systematic review. And for systematic review, we have take notes such as country and where study have carried out, when and where, and analysis parameter, and the type of issues to solve and results obtained. And this is the result and discussions. This is the brief literature review that related to our topic. For example, national survey to represent the finding of risk communications which people perceive risk have implication for their protective, formulating the understanding of dynamic COVID-19 in US by using mathematic modeling, and also and this is the research opportunity. We consider there is a big opportunity for new researchers in the futures to make research in this area. For example, risk perception during the COVID-19 by using system dynamic modeling as the approachment method, and situational adjustment test and explanatory factor analysis for risk perception during COVID-19. Also, it's a big opportunity for Indonesian researchers if they imply this research in Indonesia, because it's still rare, and we believe that it's a good opportunity to create research in this area, especially Indonesia, because at the beginnings, most of the examples coming up from the country outside Indonesia. And also we consider at the future, this is the big opportunity if we consider risk behavior after COVID-19 and government communication strategy after COVID-19, or maybe in the next wave, for example, how to predict the third wave, fifth wave of COVID-19, or a new variant of COVID-19. And this is the conclusions. Risk communications approach and public involvement are indispensable in dealing with the onslaught of concern during the pandemic. There is a potential for research that can be developed further, such as the use of certain dynamic models to model the COVID-19 risk communication problems, especially in Indonesia. And the study presents an approach method used to examine problems in soft variables such as behavior, perception, and risk communications. And this is the reference that I use for this paper. I think that's all. If you have any questions, we can discuss in Q&A sessions. Thank you.